Okay, so welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am going to break down two trades I was able to catch today on the Nasdaq. Okay, so funny enough, I actually won these two trades, but still left with little profit, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, let's just say today I went really aggressive on my break evens today, or while trading my stop loss today. And yeah, so let's get into it, okay? So basically here, as you can see, we have 1 hour fair value gap. So we had this 1 hour inverse fair value gap, but as the S&P 500 didn't tap into it. But on the Nasdaq, we inverse this 1 hour fair value gap, right? And then yeah, so when news came up, I really didn't expect price to push to the upside this much, even though we had an SMT right there. So price ended up pushing and inversed this 1 hour fair value gap. And then price ended up tapping into that fair value gap once more, right there. Also on the S&P 500, but this time price didn't tap into it. And obviously, you had the sell side liquidity right there, and the S&P 500 didn't strip out the sell side liquidity right there. But on the Nasdaq, we didn't just tap into the fair value gap, the inverse fair value gap, but we also swept sell side liquidity right there. So obviously, at this point, I am training this as a Judas swing, right? Because price literally just pushed to the downside with huge volume and took out sell side liquidity immediately. And but this didn't happen on the S&P 500, so this is giving me a clear bullish SMT, right? So all I needed to see price do was to create a CISD. But not gonna lie with you, I literally saw the CISD right here because we do have a CISD right here, as you guys can see here. But I didn't enter my trade off of this. Why? Because not like I wasn't like confident enough. But if you notice here, before this fair value gap got inversed, it was a bearish 5 minute fair value gap, I guess. Yes. So it was a bearish 5 minute fair value gap. So I wasn't just trying to look for trade into this. Instead, what I wanted to see price do was to close above the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap, right? So when price closed above the consequent encroachment with a huge candle volume, right, I was like, all right, I'm going in. So I took my trade right here. I entered my buy trade right here. My stop loss was literally, oh yeah, my stop loss was right here. And then I targeted my first take profit right here. Not gonna lie, I really wish I had targeted my first take profit here, or I wish I had entered with 3 positions because I only entered with 2. So my first take profit was here, and my second take profit was here. So here, this was when price I actually started seeing some reversals, right? So if we look at this candle, this 940 candle, okay, we can see that price didn't go above this 940 candle. But if we check on the Nasdaq, we took out that 940 candle. So we are literally having a 1 minute bearish SMT. And not just that, if we look closely to our left, we have bullish inverse fair value gap right there. So we have an IFVG right there. And as you can see, we didn't close above the consequent encroachment of that inverse fair value gap. So literally, I was kind of feeling like, yo, we might actually start pushing to the downside. That was when I saw that, I was like, all right. I ended up putting my stops so tight right here. So this was, I really don't remember, but this was kind of where my stop loss was at right there. This is where my stop loss was at. And I ended up getting stopped out. So immediately as I got stopped out, I was like, all right, I already hit TP1. I ended up getting stopped out at break even kind of. But as soon as I saw that drop to the downside, I saw that we had a fair value gap here because initially I wanted this fair value gap to actually push us higher, right? This fair value gap on the S&P and on the Nasdaq, I wanted to see that fair value gap actually push us higher. But when I saw the fair value gap getting inversed, remember, I didn't wait for this candle to close. When I saw the huge push to the downside, remember, we already have a bearish 1 minute SMT. When I saw this candle start pushing below this fair value gap with huge volume, I ended up taking my sell trade right here. I had a tight stop loss. My first take profit was literally just at the top of this 1 hour inverse fair value gap right there. And then I actually ended up having a bad feel, not gonna lie. I ended up actually entering somewhere right here. And then I ended up putting my stops to break even. The reason why I actually did this, I don't know why I did this, but like I didn't want to see that fair value gap get tapped into again because I wanted this fair value gap to stay open. to show us that yo, we might actually keep on pushing to the downside. But price ended up creating this fair value gap, and then price ended up tapping into that fair value gap. So I ended up still even giving it a little bit of space because I really didn't want to see price tap into this fair value gap. I just wanted to see price just keep pushing to the downside and just take out the 8:30 and the midnight open. So basically, only my TP ones got hit, and then my second take profit got stopped out at break evens. So yeah, that was basically today's trade, and yeah, there was really nothing apart from that. And yeah, so I will literally just drop the live recording of the live trade I took today, and till then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.